It's always been my dream to create my own fantasy world, a world of wonder, reward, and consequence of its own. A place where everything created in it is a part of me and has purpose. Because of that, 6 months ago, I chose to finally stop letting my ideas just marinate in my mind and actually try to create my first game. A game called Trinity 64. In my head, it would be an action-adventure monster tamer inspired by Elden Ring, with a visual style reminiscent of Ocarina of Time. I truly believe that if I can successfully pull off this combination of some of my favorite games, that I could have something quite special on my hands. So 6 months ago, I opened up Blender, took a look at the interface, and immediately got overwhelmed. You know, that's alright. I'll just mess around in Unreal, my game engine of choice. So I opened it up, and once again took a good look at the interface, and once again got overwhelmed. Well, this isn't good. I'm wanting to make a 3D game, making all my own assets, for a game utilizing a combination of genres, and I can't even import a cube into Unreal. Well, I guess I need to stop thinking of the finished product and focus on each small step that I need in order to make progress in this journey. In this video, I'm going to summarize each of the 5 months of development of Trinity 64 as well as this past month. I'll talk about my struggles, my triumphs, and my revelations. And lastly, I'll talk about my plans going forward. For the first month, I focused on capturing the N64 style. Inspired by my love for its nostalgic charm, especially Ocarina of Time's blurry textures that sparked the imagination. This style was perfect for a beginner like me. Simple to create, performance-friendly, and a chance to develop my own assets. I studied videos on N64 texture techniques using Ocarina of Time as a reference to model basic assets like trees and bushes. Legend64 is a huge inspiration, and he showed me how to nail the aesthetic, though I knew I'd add my own artistic spin over time. I built a rough environment for my N64 style assets, and while it wasn't perfect, it felt like a big step forward. Seeing the Unreal mannequin in this world was jarring, but creating the Blade of Harmony, the player's main weapon, a white light sword that absorbs elements, got me excited. After setting up the style test environment, I dove into modeling my first creature, the Blossom Sprite, a cute, playful guardian and the first you'd meet in this world. These spiritual beings are tied to the lore that I'm building. Fun fact, I run another YouTube channel where I've designed over 200 fake Pokemon inspired by the Legend of Zelda. So I've got some creature design experience and a distinct style. Next, I modeled the player character, a mysterious guide with no memory of their name, inspired by Link but tailored to this world's themes. Guides are monster tamers who connect humans and guardians using a spirit arm pulsing with spiritual energy. By touching the guardians, they form bonds. Modeling was tough, but Crashoon's low-poly Blender tutorials were a game changer, helping me bridge my 2D and 3D art skills. This month, I focused on creating my first game area, the Spiral Forest. Going for the retro vibe, I handcrafted the environment by building meshes from scratch. It's a tough task with only a few resources for this style. I started with a sketch, aiming for a simple open beginner zone without complex level design. In Blender, I made a rough blockout and gradually shaped the area. It's not done and it won't be perfect, but I love its atmosphere and I can't wait to design more areas. I added platforming and teased the plant mechanic, collectibles with various effects. I also showcased the Great Spiral Tree Spring, inspired by Zelda's springs and Dark Souls bonfires, and across from it, the discarded temple. Once a place of worship for the healing everlasting water, the temple is now poisoned. Working on this taught me tons of techniques and helped me refine my retro visual art style. This month I dove into adding core mechanics to my game, showing it's not just about the visuals, even though I am an artist. Functionality is a huge priority, so I can playtest and refine ideas, but starting small. The player can now swing their sword, letting them cut grass, break pots like in Zelda, and even whack poor Philip. Breaking stuff reveals everlasting water, this game's currency, similar to Elden Ring's runes, used for buying items, leveling up the player, and upgrading guardians. If you die, you drop your everlasting water and must reclaim it in Dark Souls style. I also added a Zelda-inspired role, fall damage, which can be fatal, and a first draft pause menu. These systems aren't perfect, but building them was super fun, and for once made the game feel like a real game, not just a pretty environment. This month I focused on healing mechanics, introducing a canteen filled with everlasting water. Inspired by flask systems, it has limited charges, refilled by collecting tears, encouraging combat and exploration. I also added the first fountain, this game's take on Dark Souls' bonfires, which currently refill your canteen but will later handle party changes, leveling, and more. I also introduced this game's core themes of stagnation and purification. Beyond healing, I added new movement options when I locked on. Players can side somersault or backflip, which honestly feels really fun. While not a ton of features, I built pretty much all of these solo for the first time. Plus, I'm getting way more comfortable with Blender and Unreal. Those initial fears are gone, and I honestly get really excited to rush home from work to create more. This month marked a huge step forward in making Trinity 64 feel alive. My biggest focus was a proper damage system, moving beyond my basic sword swing deal damage setup. The new system is scalable, passing info like attack type, power, status effects, and whether it can be blocked or parried. Crucial for the complex combat I'm planning. It required learning new Unreal Engine features and cleaning up code took time, but I learned a lot. The real highlight was bringing the Blossom sprite to life. Previously just 2D art and a model, I remodeled it, rigged it, and dove into animation despite finding Blender intimidating. Once I nailed the idle animation, I was honestly hooked. Creating a movement animation with its stem antenna swaying, an attack where it twists and strikes with a stretching antenna, a jump for its ability, a flinch, and even some unused strafing animations. Seeing my 2D creature design come alive in 3D was honestly incredible, and made the spiral forest feel like a living world. Blossom sprites roam passively, but attack in groups when provoked. Their strength is in numbers. They're a creature that was born from a location called the Nest of Flowers, and their influence spreads across the forest like pollen. To keep the Action Monster Tamer combat clean, I designed a thematic UI. The lock-on reticle integrates a radial health bar, a spirit orb that shifts from stagnant to pure, which when maxed out will stagger the guardians so you can obtain them, and a tier indicator. The Blossom sprite, a tier 1 guardian, has a bare ring, while tiers 2 and 3 will have ornate edges to signal their elite status. Tiers balance combat by controlling how many guardians you're allowed to have out with you. You can have 3 tier 1s, 1 tier 2 plus 1 tier 1, or a solo tier 3. Each guardian has a unique kit inspired by games like League of Legends. A basic attack, a passive ability, an active ability, like the sprite's Blossoming Burst, an AoE healing attack, and a powerful ultimate ability with a long cooldown. These will hopefully make every guardian feel distinct. Looking ahead, I'm designing 2 more guardians. The tier 2 Venoming Maw, warped by this region's poison, and the tier 3 Glade Knight, an armored wolf-like creature with sweeping tail attacks and steel-like fur, fighting to protect its dying species. I'm also exploring a shiny hunting system, but instead of Pokemon's random color swaps, I'm conceptualizing lore-driven variants, pure, stagnant, and prismatic forms, with unique looks and minor gameplay tweaks. Let me know your thoughts on these down in the comments. I'm aiming to showcase Trinity 64 at Gym Leader Ed's Monster Taming Direct in August, but it's not a full monster tamer yet, as currently I can't actually control any of the monsters. So I'm prioritizing completing the Blossom sprite and saving stuff to reveal for that. It would honestly be really huge to be a part of that, and it would make my game feel even more validated. I'd also like some feedback from you guys on a few things. One, should I stick to monthly devlogs, even with rough features? Or should I wait for polished updates, where I have a feature at a pretty functional state? This may make the devlogs take longer, but I think they'll be more cohesive. And if that's the case, I can even post more shorts on daily progress, which I've already kind of been doing, but I'm not sure how people feel about those. As I've been working on this game more and more, I told myself if I got to the 6-month mark, I would start really thinking about what my long-term goal is for the game. So having feedback on things like a Steam page or maybe even a Patreon is something that I would really like feedback on. Balancing this game with a 9-to-5 and my main YouTube channel is intense, but hitting the 6-month mark has me pretty much confirmed that I'm pretty in it. Every small win, even a day spent on a tiny fix, feels rewarding. And with your support, I'm pretty confident I can make something truly special. I'm having a lot of fun working on this game. As a creative, it is just insanely fun to just have so much influence over something. I said it in my first devlog, and I'll always think this, but video games to me are the ultimate art form. There is no other art form like it. And I said it before, but I don't know if this is my dream game. But like I said, I am working on my dream universe, and this game is just going to be a part of that. I don't know how complex it will be because I kind of have to take it step by step, but I'm hoping that with the learning and the dedication that it can honestly be something amazing. Thank you for joining me on this journey so far, and I hope to see you next time.